the tension. You can just
Mm-hmm.
feel it all in the air. I mean, yeah. So, how's it?
How's it?
What's this? Checking
Yeah.
all the angles. 13, the big one.
Lucky number 13, hopefully.
Um, Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah,
lucky number 13 and number 4. Well, for someone,
yeah.
it's going to be.
It's gonna be. Just before we start, I know we focus on the rugby, but I am wearing my South African cricket cap. Yeah, and fuck, those boys put in an effort on Saturday. No, Sunday.
That was Saturday,
Oh yes,
same day
because
as the Ragas.
the first semi was on Friday. Yeah, I'm getting confused. Yeah. Oh my word, what an effort by the Proteas. Just to set the tone for
Oh,
the rest of the day.
100%. 100%. No, big shout out for that. Definitely first blow, uh, first blow of the weekend to SA there, and then the dagger to the heart was just a few hours later, but well, that was close. That was run very, very close.
I thought it was going to be the other way around. I honestly didn't think, because England cricket needed to bounce back. So I thought they were going to come out hard. And if we won, it was going to be close. And then the rugby, I thought we were going to take it by a bit of a margin. But in the end, it turned out to be the other way around.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think one thing that hasn't been talked about too much is the conditions on Saturday with the rugby.
Yeah.
I think that was a light rain that makes that ball so slippery and so difficult to just keep a hold of. I think that's
Mm.
why we saw, how many was it? I think in total 69 kicks in the game out of hand.
69 kicks out of hand. Shit.
That's a lot. 41 for England and 28 for us. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is. England kicked that many. I thought it was a bit
Yep.
tighter in terms of number of kicks.
No, no. I mean, they were sensational under the high ball. I have to say, Freddie
Yeah,
Stewart, you called it. You called
I
it.
told you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big game at fullback. Our O's didn't look that confident in the air. But again, like I said, the conditions were horrendous. I feel our box kicks were either a little bit too deep or we didn't apply enough pressure. But
On that note,
oh,
I watched the Squid report of our game now just before we started chatting, and England implemented this new strategy to their box kicks that I don't think I've seen any other team do. Um, and I hope New Zealand don't catch on to this before the weekend. But you know how when we defend a box kicks, when we defend a kick up and under, we've got like that wall of forwards that usually block
yeah.
off the. So that's why our players so often look very comfortable under the high ball. But Borthwick and England chose a different strategy where they put their high balls up closer to the touchline and they allowed their first, their most aggressive chaser to actually run out of play. So when we defend it, normally the players are in field. There's a few instances where Elliot Daly actually runs out of play and he's able to make that contest or make that first tackle. And it was amazing.
Mm.
Squidge is a genius, by the way. We've got
It's,
to
you know what,
give
a
credit.
100%. You know what, that's reminiscent of back in the day. Brian Habana also used to do that quite
Yeah,
often, where we'd
yeah,
run from outside the field back in, things like that, just doing some things.
yeah.
But yeah, look, they were phenomenal under the high ball. But at the end of the day, heart stopping. I mean, it was so reminiscent of 2019 semi-final. Pollard stepping up
Yeah.
deep into the 70th minute, slotting one, and the Oaks just keeping their discipline. That was Oh,
That was the
it was
most.
hard stopping though.
Yeah, Saturday was the most angst I've ever experienced in a sporting event in my whole life. No questions asked. I think the atmosphere where I watched with 50 other British people in a very tight pub, just myself and Marika, couldn't let out those bursts of like, come on, when we did do something right. So it was all bottled up. And then when we eventually won, it was a case of come on. And then I just put up the peace sign and I was like, please, everyone, I mean, don't attack me.
Yo,
But
yes, look.
honestly, Sunday morning I had to sit down, have a cup of tea, and just be like, find yourself again, center yourself, because it was
Just
crazy.
blow, just blow in your barn, eh?
Yeah.
Like they would say. Sure. I mean, look, we watched at the neighbor spot, old Cam spot again.
Yeah.
Second weekend in a row. Did the Poiki pre-run
Yeah.
for the weekend. It was nervy. I mean, there was tension. There was tension up until Ergis Neyman went over. Um, there was still tension. When Pollard slotted the kick, you could feel the sighs of relief. And then with the kickoff, the tension was just back. So,
Yeah.
oh, no, they've look. The last 2 weeks for Springbok supporters have been tough. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You had to definitely have your blood pressure tablets ready. Oh, that was look. I won't mind that happening again. I'll take
Yeah.
that. I'll take a 1 pointer any day of the week. But yeah, I don't know how my heart will take it again. I
So
just don't know.
so two things now. Firstly, did you see Hollard Insurance changed their name to Pollard Insurance for the last week?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Bans.
very
Absolutely.
fans.
Kudos to Pollard. Also, if we are looking for sponsors for the channel, so if Hollard, you want to reach out for that acknowledgement, feel free. And then secondly, um, yeah, going back to that 1 pointer and the physicality. So I know we don't have any structure ready for this episode unless you've got any, but I thought it might be nice just to like
No,
recap and see how we've got here. So in terms of that 1 point win, and you look at England, you look at France, but if you look at the journey to the final and the games that South Africa have had to play, the physical toll
what
it's
a road
taken
it's
on our
been.
players. If we lift the title on Saturday, it is going to be one, the greatest title defense I think in rugby, but arguably in any sport ever. And two, we would have played, I think, every single one of the top 6 teams in the world to get there.
That is that is correct. That is correct. Look, what a road it has been for the guys. This has been a 4-year cycle that has culminated into the crescendo that we will see on Saturday.
Yeah,
It is brilliant for the guys to be there, to be able to defend their title. I think that is the first. Well, it's the first time we've gone for back to back titles.
yeah,
Um, it's it's a massive achievement already, and like you rightly said, it was against the top 6 best other teams in the world. If we can take it all the way, which is incredible to think about it.
so on
You
that,
don't see things like that too much, you know.
yeah, so on that, how now my first question and maybe our first topic is how much does that road take out of our squad? And if you had to put yourself in the coaching staff's shoes, how do you react to that looking ahead to the final? That's a biggie. It's a
So I think,
nice juicy question to
uh,
start.
look, I'm just going to throw some meme-worthy heat in here now and just say it looks like we could be on the right side of history, or as we say in Afrikaans, aan die regte kant van geskiedenis. You know,
Rechterkant,
just a
jou
little one.
witkant.
I mean, it's what we want. That's a very, very good question. Geez, like, I'm actually a
Stumped.
little bit stumped there.
So I've given it some thought, right? Bearing in mind
It's a
that
yeah. Okay.
you think about it, and let me rather answer my own question and then get your feedback on that. So if you think about the way we play now, obviously what we did to the All Blacks at Twickenham, I don't know if I've told you, but I was at the game. What we did to the All Blacks at Twickenham, I think we've implemented similar throughout the World Cup, in terms of dominant forward play, get the intensity up, get the front foot ball, and look to capitalize like that. Where we've changed maybe is where we kick. And again, kudos to Squidge for like bringing this up and actually bringing it to light. But I think where we've in the past we've focused our kicking off 9. A lot of our kicks have come off 10 now, and not off
Yeah.
third, fourth phase ball. It looks like we're kicking first, second phase ball when we've got that really, really good momentum. So I don't think that that's changed considerably since the All Black game at Twickenham, and that did the business against the All Blacks. Will we see Rassie and Jacques pull out a completely different game plan this weekend, like they did in the 2019 final? Personally, I don't think so. I think it'll be that, maybe even a bit tighter. And then to answer my question, we need the physicality and we need the intensity. So I personally think that Dwayne will feature in the 23, but he's going to come off the bench. We're going to start with Jasper, and we're going to definitely go to a 6-2 split. Potentially, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if they do a 7-1. I honestly wouldn't.
Do you think they'll go back-to-back 7-1s against the All Blacks?
I promise you, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we went with a 7-1. I would be worried, because is it the way to go? But I wouldn't be completely surprised, because we need that front football. Also, you said conditions. It's going to be slippery. It's going to be wet. I mean, how often is the ball going to actually go to 12 and 13? And these people calling for the centers to be rotated come this weekend, saying they didn't feature this last weekend. The ball never got there.
They didn't
12
touch
and
the ball.
13. Damien and Jesse have been absolutely superb, and I think in the last game, yes, it might have been mileage on the legs, but I personally don't think they did enough to be yanked. They definitely in my starting 15 this weekend. I think the focus has got to be in the forward pack, and we've got to maintain that we utterly dominate come set play and ruck time, because if we don't, then it's New Zealand's game to control.
Yeah. Look, geez, there's so many different variables to consider here. I mean, if you look in terms of playing time after the round, the group stages, our Oaks were all like hovering at the 160 mark, things like that. 2 games.
Yeah.
Now they've gone back-to-back weekends with the same team. O's did look a little bit drained, which is understandable though. But I don't think that England game took as much out of them as the France game would have. I don't think so. I just think that France game emotionally, mentally, physically was taxing, definitely. I was very surprised that they didn't pick some fresh legs for the England game, I'll be honest. And then I'm also thinking they will probably go for a 6-2
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, I also can see the 7-1 happening. But again, I can see the 5-3 happening as well. I have no idea what these oaks are
No,
planning
I
anymore.
don't think
I've
I don't
given
think there'll
I've
be a
I'll
5-3.
you have to be a brave man to call it whatever they're going to do, or Jocks and Rassi.
Yeah.
Um it is it's going to be interesting, but I would think they would go for the 6-2 as well. And as you mentioned, the one change I could see happening is Jasper in for Dwayne in the starting lineup. But again, I don't know. They've been managing Dwayne very well, but I mean, he's gone back to back pretty much 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Does he have it in the tank? Probably does, though. Probably does. World Cup final man of the match 4 years ago. 4 years is a long time, but he's still an athlete. He is still phenomenal. I mean, he could still start a game, and maybe you
But
bring someone else on for the explosiveness, but I think they would want him there in the final 20 minutes, you know?
yeah, I will argue that in saying the levels that you want out of a player for a normal international are high. The levels you want in a World Cup final are higher. And when you say Dwayne's done back to back 80 minutes, does he have it in the tank? Yes, he could play 80 minutes, but there's an intensity that we require from our players. And I think
Yeah.
he's got 20, 30 minutes of that intensity in him, but I don't know if the bugger's got 60, 70 minutes and being off the park when we need him. I think
Mm.
that's the way you've got to look at it. Because
Yeah,
you
there's
need that, you
this.
need that pump as a book
Yeah.
as a book team.
No, you do. You do. Look, the bench has been working very, very well the last 2 weeks. The
Yeah.
explosiveness, the impact. I don't think you want to change too much, but I think, like we mentioned earlier, I think conditions could dictate what we do. It does look like it will be a bit rainy, bit wet, but you're never sure. You wake up on the day, assess it, and see what happens by the time you run onto the field.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, this team would have been picked three weeks ago, probably already.
You
They would
reckon?
have known.
Maybe
I think these
90%.
Oaks, yeah, at least 90%. I think these Oaks have planned this thing meticulously. I think every player knows. I mean, they know already the day after the game who's in the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it is. Yo, it's a so many permutations, so many different options, so many variables you can look at,
Yeah.
and well, until tomorrow we won't know
You won't
exactly what
know.
they're thinking.
Yeah.
But it's exciting.
It
It's
is
very
exciting.
exciting. I think just going back to your point about the styles and the things and whatnot. Um, we've shown we can take them on physically. I think they
Yeah.
are different beasts though, with Retallick and
And
Frizzell
Brazil.
back.
Absolutely.
I know that people say, oh, it's only two players. Yeah, but two players can make a big difference in physicality and experience. I mean, it's a lot of caps just
So,
with Retallick alone, and Frizzell being the Jerome Kano type
yeah.
player
Yeah.
with physicality especially is what they were missing. I think
Yeah.
at Twickenham, you could see they
Yeah.
didn't have that physicality. Um, Again, I don't know what we're going to see in the game. We can see anything. We can see them going to try and dominate with the forwards. I can also see them going with a counter punch and doing some crazy running. They're so unpredictable with their game plan. We don't know how much powder they have left dry. Um, what do they still have up their sleeve? Because I'm pretty sure there's still things we haven't seen.
So
I mean, you just
let's
take it back 4 years. You just take it back
yeah.
4 years, and no one saw that coming. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but
So
I'm sure we'll see some sort of hybrid of all the things we are good at and we can do. I think it's going to be a very much a hybrid, see the situation, play the situation type of strategy.
So how do we? Okay, let's maybe break it down into halves here, because I'd also like to flip the coin around and see how New Zealand might approach it. But let's break it down into the first 40. How do you go? How do you think we're going to go about the first 40? If I look to start off from our side with conditions being the way they were last weekend and conditions shaped to be similar this weekend, I think Marnie's going to miss out, sadly. I do think he's going to miss out. I think he's going to miss out. Pollard's going to start at 10. We're going to have Damian Willemse at 15, and Villy's going to be on the bench. That's just my thought process there. Do we look to go for the corners and stamp our authority and really try to get that upper hand, or are we taking the points? Because bearing in mind, New Zealand can always score tries. That is New Zealand's DNA. So being 6 points ahead against New Zealand, even 11 points ahead against New Zealand, they can turn that over in 10 minutes quickly. So it's a different beast with them.
Yeah, it is. It is. But again, that's why I'm saying I think we're going to see a hybrid type style. I think they are literally going to go and assess on the day. I feel, look, there will be a set game plan. 100% there will be a set game plan, but I'm pretty sure they will also see in the eyes of the opposition what will be the choices to make. I think this team has that type of mentality though as well. Is they will decide on the given day what is required, just how much they need, and they'll work it. They'll work it out. They've been doing that the last 2 weeks. I mean, against France it was high scoring, 29-28. Against England we had to make it take it ugly, and that's fine. And it was 16-15. It was still enough. Against New Zealand, we know what type of rugby they want to play. They like to get it loose. They like to run it around. I think, though, that New Zealand will probably deploy something similar to what we saw at Mount Smart, with some good tactical kicking from the kickoffs.
Yeah.
Perhaps launching some bombs, because we did look vulnerable under the high ball against England. We have to be
And they will
honest
have
about
learned.
it.
Yeah.
Look, our guys, that's the thing. It's very much a hit and miss. One game they won't drop a ball, and the next game they could drop 5 balls. It happens.
And Freddie Stewart had the game of his life, probably. He was immense.
Yeah,
Man
he
of the
was
match.
phenomenal. No, he was phenomenal. But again, we saw in Mount Smart that was the tactic the All Blacks deployed that day, and they got great reward from it. So I'm thinking we're going to see that, but I think we're also going to see them counter attack. I'm not sure what the thinking is in terms of the fly halves. I would want Pollard on the field for 80 minutes, yes, just because of his demeanor and all of that.
Well, yeah.
But I can
Demeanor was world class.
also easily see Marnie Libbok still starting and Pollard coming on for the last 40 or whatever. And you just tell the Oak to keep on doing what he's been doing the whole year.
I
He
can
was
see that.
sensational. He was sensational in Twickenham. He was sensational against France. Um, had a one off-ish game against England. I mean, again, that's just the coaching staff seeing that what's required on the day. That's
Yeah.
the thing. They saw what was required. They knew Pollard's tactical kicking was um, more spot on. Because sometimes as well, you just can't find your rhythm in the game, and that's what
Yeah.
we saw with Marnie. I mean, previous games his rhythm has been on point with his out of hand kicks. So I can
But,
easily see him still starting. I can
and
easily see that
on
because
that,
he's been phenomenal this whole year.
yeah, and on that, I'm just thinking what you said there. in a game like we were playing against England, with the conditions not really in his favor, he probably still thinks, and he's probably been told, that while he's on the field, there is a license to be more aggressive in how he plays. And that pressure might still have been on him while on the field. So he was kind of under a cloud of unnecessary pressure. Whereas with Pollard, he's not required to be as extravagant and
No,
can play
100%.
under less pressure. So that's why they might have made that. I've actually just thought of it now. That's why they might have made that change a bit earlier, just to take that unnecessary pressure off the 10 in conditions like that. With the team,
Yeah,
kudos to England. They played really well. They unraveled us.
no, for sure. No, for sure. Um, yeah, I'm still wary of Pollard's knee. I mean, it's still something that's in the back of my head. I know, just because it's a knee. I mean, that thing can go anytime, anytime.
Yeah.
And then do we have that injury? We're in trouble. We're in big trouble.
But
If you don't
but
have Imani,
same with DuPont. The the World Cup comes around once every 4 years. You play your whole life, your whole career, everything to play in a World Cup final. I promise you, if there were guys in our team that had dislocated shoulders, I remember Richie McCaw played the one World Cup final with a crack in his ankle and he taped it up. And I think he played a week and a half with a cracked ankle. Like, these guys know that that is the pinnacle. So, I mean, yes, his knee could go in the game, and touch wood. Geez, I could be touching wood hard here, but touch wood, his
100%.
knee could go in the game. But I mean, he's accepted that. Like, that's
No, for
we
sure. You
just
can't play with fear. You can't play with
yeah,
fear. That is the
yeah,
big look. I don't, let me be 100% honest here. I don't care what game plan we play. I don't care if we kick the ball. I don't care if we
yeah,
run the ball. I want to see these oaks coming out with fire in their bellies, the
yes,
look in their eye. I want to
yeah,
see that mongrel. I want to see that dog. I want to see that
yeah,
Jack Russell mentality, that we are not going away. We are here. We are here to flip and win this thing.
yeah.
I don't care what your guys are trying to do here. We are not going to allow it. We are going to come. We are going to dominate you. That's all I want to see. I don't care. Running rugby, kicking rugby, I don't care. I just want to see a fired up Springbok side. I want to see them give their all, leave everything out on the field, empty the tank. That's all we can ask for. If they
100%.
do that, if they do that, I'm pretty sure they will be able to have at least one more point than the All Blacks. It's
Yeah,
about who wants it more this weekend. It's the saying as old as time, but
yeah.
who wants it more? That is
And
going to be a big deciding factor in this game.
as much as you've just given me raised the hairs on the back of my neck, or whatever that saying is, can you just let's just take a moment. Okay, firstly, before I say let's just take a moment, I forgot to mention Oxen Chair, my boy. I know I digress here, but he came on and wow, did he play well. I know you mentioned the subs earlier, and I know South Africa's been bigging him up this week, but fully deserved. He came in our hour of need. He really did step up. So I know you agree with me,
100%.
Ox, on behalf of Papes, and checking all the angles. We wish you the same in the final. Now, getting back to it. Channel,
So, wait,
well,
that man loves his cake. Give him his cake.
give him his
Another
cake.
shout out, Dion Fourie, 38 years old or something. Phenomenal. Kwagga
Yes.
Smith, the Kwagster. The energy those Oaks bring off the bench is
Yeah.
phenomenal. It baffles me every single time. You can see they play for one thing, and that is for the Bokke. They live, breathe, live. I don't know what else you can say. You can see they enjoy every single minute they get to spend there, and it's beautiful to watch. Poetry in
Uh,
motion.
it is. So just on the topic of giving paying homage. I'm just trying to find here what the latest is to old Papes, but I don't see any updates on his injury online. So, Papes, if you ever watch any of these, I hope you're feeling better. But getting back to it now, and I want to channel a feeling for you and whoever else manages to listen to this. But put yourself in the room or on the field, wherever you're watching it on Saturday. The boys come out. The national anthems are sung. Now, cameras start honing in on players, and we line up to face a World Cup final haka. Oh, oh, that World Cup final haka. Oh my! I think to me that's when the haka really takes on a new shape, and it has the feel that I think a haka has lost over the last few years.
Look, I was 1 year old the previous time we played these Oaks in a final. Can't remember it. This has been 28 years in the making. 28 years. Springbok Lighties and Springbok legends have dreamt of playing the All Blacks, the old foe, in the final. I mean, this is as big as it will ever get, pretty much. Going back to back, first to 4 titles, straight shootout. I think, well, all the moments building up to kickoff. I think the coin toss, you want to see intensity. You don't want to see Mr. Nice Guy. You want to see what you saw in 2019. These Oaks will be G'd up. They know, they've been there. They've done it before. They know how to carry themselves. They know what's required. They will, I think, definitely come out with that fire in their eyes. The haka, I think, as you mentioned, I think it is going to be explosive. A lot of O's I've been checking, saying like we should do something cool or whatever and try and put them off their game. I think that motivates them as well. I think do what you always do, stare them down, but have that look in your eye. Stand on the half line, don't back down.
Yeah.
Just give them the respect
in.
they deserve, but give them the respect they deserve, but show them that you are here.
Yeah.
We can see you guys are here, but we are here.
Yeah.
We're not here to play games today.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crack. I can't wait to see that. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know. They could potentially do something weird. They could. Some Jock and Rassie final preparation mind games. I don't know. But
just
it's
on the
going to be
haka,
intense.
On the haka, I heard a funny anecdote this week. I have enjoyed watching all the past legends speak about the games and all of that over the World Cup, but particularly the last few days. So I heard someone, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying Stefan de Blanche was playing his first game against New Zealand, and he was a bit nervous, and he said to Gary Tachman, what I do when it's the haka. So Gary Tachman says, you stand there and you look dead straight at them, and you find the person you're going up against in the match, and you stare at them as if you're going to fucking rip their head off, and they must know it. So Stefan Tablanche is like, okay, cool. So Gary Tachman says to Stefan, so who you up against this weekend? And Stefan goes, Lamu. So Tachman goes, okay, you swap with me.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, fun. That is
I did
such a
the,
rip.
yeah, I can't remember
Oh,
which
jeez.
old pro was saying that, but yes, it had me chuckle. I listened to it on Monday on the way to work. Um, but yeah,
Jeez.
I mean, what bases haven't we covered now? I mean, we've got ourselves excited. Um, okay, yes. So we've got Wayne Barnes, and apparently we've got
Oh,
a
I
full.
wanted to say stats and facts. I've got some stats or facts, actually.
Okay, hold on, wait one
Um,
second. Hold on before you go.
okay. I shall wait attentively. But yeah,
Just
old Bonzi, eh?
have them ready to go. Uh,
I've got them ready to go here. Let me just throw some other facts here that you might not know.
Wait, hold
There's
on,
only been
2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, this is a new segment for our show, guys.
Great, great stuff. Okay, so just a little. Okay, Wayne Barnes will be the referee, second
Yeah.
Englishman to ref a final. The only other one was, I'll tell you his name now. This was a 95, just by the way. What was this oak's name? Ed Morrison was his name. Okay. There's only been one country, I think, that has two before this.
Us.
Amaboka Boka, yeah. Andre Watson, also the only man to ref two finals in, when was it, 99 and 2003.
Andy
And then Craig
W.
Joubert also ref the final in 2011. So,
Sir,
yeah.
I heard him speak once.
So, so yeah, Wayne Barnesy will take control of this one. 44 years old. Pretty sure this might be his swan song. I would say that would be the way that you want to end it. There
Yeah.
isn't any higher. There's no higher way to end it. It's his 111th Test match this weekend. 111.
Jeez. Nice.
Made his
Bonds.
debut. Made his debut in 2006. He's been around for a long time. He's been around for a long, long time. Look, we have his compatriots called Dixon and Matthew Carley as the ARs, and then Tom Foley in the TMO box. Uh, all English panel.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not too sour after last weekend, but they're professionals, so they won't be.
But you can believe their WhatsApp groups have been blowing up saying, please, please, please get these VidCons.
Look, if you just stay on the vidcant, which is the white side of the rack, you would have been fine. Look, I mean, that was the amount of memes I've seen flying on that is just, there's just so many. There was so many. I think it looks like Bongi will be fine.
Yeah,
I
I
really
saw
think,
just before.
um,
He's fine. He's cleared.
I'm, I'm, I'm very sure that was a lost in translation,
Yeah.
type of thing. I mean, yeah, actually now thinking about it, you never realized it until that, and you're like, oh, it does actually, oh, that sounds pretty bad.
Did you see have
But
you seen the snippet of when Curry comes to Ben O'Keefe and says what he says? And Ben O'Keefe's
yeah.
like, just leave it.
Oh, look. Yeah, so those are our four guys that'll be officiating in the final. Look, I can't give you the exact number of games that the Boks and the All Blacks have played in World Cups. I want to say it's about 7.
Yeah.
We've won 2, lost 5. Last meeting was in 2019 group stages, 23-13. Before that, 2015 semi-final, and that was I think it was 2018 loss
Yeah,
or 17-19. I can't remember exactly.
2018, I think.
Um, and then yeah, before that there were a few ones I think in 2003 and 99. I don't know really. And then the 95 final, which we of course won in extra time with a Joel Stransky drop goal. So the World Cup record not so good. Recent form is I think what do you call it, 2-2 in the last two seasons, which I think no, no, I'm wrong. It's 3-2 in the last two seasons,
Yeah.
including Twickenham. I mean, last year it was in Mbombela Mbombela or Nelspruit, whichever one you want to call it, where we took them, what was it, 26-10. Then we had the reverse fixture in Ellis Park, where they made probably one of their best resounding comeback victories
Yeah.
in a long time. And then we, of course, had Mount Smart at the start of this year, which was pretty much a demolition in that first 20 minutes from the All Blacks. And then we had, it is 2-2. We only played them once this year before Twickenham. And then there was the Twickenham demolition, which was also a fast start from South Africa, absolutely keeping them
Relentless. Relentless.
relentless, giving them no air, giving them no time, keeping the pressure on for 20 minutes. It was a complete role reversal.
Can I just add something quickly on with the stats you're putting out now? So a lot of talk surrounding SA New Zealand for 2023 is they believe this is the final game in a trilogy, and they're calling it the 2023 trilogy. So it was the game in New Zealand where we were blown away for the most part. We did the blowing away at Twickenham. And now this game, based on just this year's form, no one can call.
Fair enough. That's a fair enough shot. It's 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 like I mentioned earlier. It's so you can't say one team is better than the other. These are two incredible rugby teams. Let's be honest about it. They both have such a pedigree, such a history. Um, I mean, I've been saying this from the start of the World Cup, right? New Zealand off at your own peril. They can't just become a bad team with two
Guilty.
losses.
Guilty. I'm
It
sorry for
made
everyone.
no sense. I mean, we've lost back to back against bloody Australia, mate. So I mean, take it for what it is. I think they've got a big confidence coming into this New Zealand. They'll be G'd up. They'll
Yeah.
be feeling good about themselves. But again, you have to take your hats off to a team that was also under severe pressure to perform this year. And after the France game, they weren't given a chance. Blew Ireland away in the quarterfinal with some enthralling rugby. Absolutely took Argentina to the cleaners. Absolutely destroyed them. Not a lot of fight from Argentina, which was sad to see.
No argy
Um,
bargy.
no argy bargy at all. Um, but yeah, I think we've had so many tough games already in this World Cup. I think I would want to be the battle-hardened team going into this. There's something that I've been saying for the last two weekends. Just thinking about it this week. There was a long time where the All Blacks just seemed to know how to win a game from
Yeah.
impossible
Agreed.
places. And it just feels the last two weekends we have been seeing that from the Springboks as well,
Yeah.
where they just find a way by hook or by crook or by penalty or by try or by doing whatever the hell it takes to win.
Yeah.
And I just feel it just feels that this might be another one pointer. You never know. But I just feel it just looks different. You can see there's a purpose. Even though Yard was close against England, I still don't think you can say that they didn't show the desire or the grit. I mean, to do that in the last 13 minutes of a semi-final under the most intense of pressure,
Yeah,
just to get to the final, I think that galvanizes a team. I
yeah,
really think the close ones are the ones that galvanize you.
yeah.
Um, and that's what I think we need. We need to be in that place where we need to fight for each other. It's
Absolutely,
when we are at our most dangerous.
absolutely. And you see, it's a tricky one. I mean, I'm just trying to work out like how my body used to feel after a rugby match, and I'm trying to put it into perspective to try and understand what the Boks might have felt and where they might be, let's say, as of tonight, physically. Uh, I saw a podcast earlier, and Schalk Brits was saying in the week of the final in 2019, they only had 2 run-outs, and both were equivalent to captain's runs.
Which makes
So
all the sense in the world.
it makes all the sense in the world. I think it's a lot more mental in a week like this. So does 6 days is 6 days enough for these guys to get to turn around physically? I agree with what you're saying. I think the high of France to England was a lot more on the emotional side of things. Um, I can only imagine how the mental fortitude of these guys would have been tested the week leading up to France, because
Oh
there's
yeah.
a difference in there's apparently, as you saw in the Chasing the Sun documentary, that Japan as a country were very hospitable to all nations, especially South Africa, up until the week before we played Japan, and then everything changed.
Yeah.
But I think there's also uh, a more of a disconnect between Japan as a people and South Africans as a people, whereas with the French, I think there's more of a connection with how French people operate to South Africa. So the tactics employed, the way the French media people, staff at the grounds, etc., would have reacted to the South Africans would have been maybe a level up to what they would have experienced in Japan. So to have that mental rigidity to come out in a stadium that was fiery and to get
Packed
the
to the
victory,
rafters.
yeah, to get the victory there would have been such a mental high that to then lull after that, enjoy a brandewijn, enjoy a beer, and then to pick yourself up again afterwards, like how far would you need? I mean, you've got such an outlier in France that where do you have to put yourself to then beat England? Because you also don't know what England are coming into the game with. So I can see that's what you said earlier got me thinking. There's a lot of, like we say, Rassi and his 5D chess. It's a far there's dimension to this that you've got to consider. And I'm starting after our conversation. It's weird how these conversations we have make me feel better, but that feeling I told you about just before we started chatting, it's starting to find a form in the sense
Yeah.
that we, as South Africans, are gearing up for that final now. Now
Oh
we
yeah.
know where our headspace has to be. We know what we're playing for. Whereas with England, they were coming in there with not a lot of form. They were coming in there as the complete underdogs. Mentally, they were prepared for the France. Whereas for us, we were coming off the France and we didn't know at what level we had to be at for the England.
Look,
game.
you have to be 100% honest. That was England's best game of the World Cup. It's exactly the
Yeah,
same as in 2019, where their semi-final performance was sensational.
yeah,
Um, we had enough in the tank, though, to just scrape it. And that's the thing. That, like you say, that mental fortitude of being able to pick yourself out of the dump and just get the job done bodes well. I really think it bodes well. Um, it's even if you just look at football analogies, um, the ugly 1-0.
yeah,
Championship sides do that. They get the job done
yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
Um, and oh, I feel that sh that gives us a good feeling going into this week. The Oaks will be ready physically. They will be ready. They won't get selected if they're not ready physically. I mean, where are the days you used to play tour games? I know in Super Rugby and things like that, 3 weeks in a row and you'd be fine. So I know World Cup's intensity and all that's a lot more, but still, these Oaks will
Very
be
true.
ready.
Very true what you're saying there.
They will
Very,
be
very
ready.
spot on. Yeah, so I think let's I want to ask you a question now. It's probably a bit of a lull, and then we wrap up towards the end of this episode. But looking at the two squads now and what they've given to the game after countless years. I mean, I know there's going to be a few departures. So from the
Yeah.
New Zealand side, we're losing the whole coaching staff. And I know Whitelock after, I think Saturday is going to be his 153rd game, if I'm not mistaken. As a lock, that's unreal. I know he's bowing out afterwards. I don't know who
Aaron
else
Smith is
from
also
is that confirmed?
Aaron Smith is also bowing out. Um, I know then there are quite a few players that are also going to go play in Japan and places like that. Richie Mwanga, I want to say
But is that
Bodie. That's all
I heard
confirmed.
something about Moanga, but is Moanga buying out of international rugby?
If you play in a different country, you don't get selected for the All Blacks.
Okay. So yeah, I wish them all the best. I know nothing's been disclosed now from a Springbok point of view, but I mean, Dion Farie's not going to be at the next World Cup, and I think he'll want to retire internationally right at the top. So I'm assuming Dion Farie is one of them. Have we got wind of anyone else in the team that might be looking to hang up their boots after this World Cup?
Dwayne hasn't confirmed,
Yeah, okay, I think
but look, he said he if he can play more, he'll play more. Um, but I think also if we can pull it out of the hat, I'm pretty sure Dwayne will probably say this is probably the way that any legend wants to go.
yeah,
Um,
Billy,
Willie, this is probably his last World Cup. I'm not sure if he'll retire from the
yeah.
box, but it's definitely his last World Cup. Um,
See, we in a. I think we at a good spot from a Springbok point of view in that we won't have a mass exodus straight away, and it's going to bode well for us leading into 2027. I don't want to look there yet, but I'm just saying where you have that mass exodus and you've got to regroup entirely. I think we'll be
yeah,
keeping enough so we can start the next cycle,
yeah,
showing the guys coming in how we need to play. I know we're losing Shark. Rassi's going to
yeah,
stay on as director of rugby.
yeah,
So I think the philosophy of our side is going to remain,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
it's good for the Springboks.
No, for sure. Look, yeah, the only other oak I can think of now, quickly off the top of my head, is probably also Sose, Franco Mostert.
You
Uh,
reckon,
I,
eh?
th- I think he's already 32, 33.
But you see, I don't think he's going to retire today. I think he's going to give us
No,
maybe a
he'll,
season or two. I'm saying guys who are going to call the World
yeah,
Cup final
no,
their last game.
no, I can't see a lot, eh? I really can't. Like you mentioned, it'll probably be Willie, Dwayne, um,
Dion Fourie.
Jan Fourie. Yeah, the rest of the Oaks are still there or thereabout, eh?
I'm hoping the Earbuns and those guys, they give us 2 years after this, just 2 seasons. I also think I want to check the age between Earburn and Archie, but I think Archie deserves his time in the sun, and I would love to see him starting. Maybe as we look towards 2027, he becomes the Earburn. I don't know what the age difference is between the two, but I think Archie is younger.
I think Eben is only 31, eh?
He's not much older than us, yeah.
Uh,
'Cause I know
he's,
he's a year younger than Sia, and Sia's 3 years older than me. Or yeah, 3 years older than me, 4 years older than you. He's the same age as my cousin.
yeah, okay. Look, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, those are the only ones that I can think of straight off the bat. Maybe Clever Trevor, because I think he's pushing 33, 34 as well. But we've seen for props, those Oaks, they go. They
Yeah,
don't mind to go.
But look, again, to all of those guys, if you ever come across the channel, we're paying homage to you, and we wish you best as you ride off into the sunset. Thank you for what you've given the game.
100%. Yeah.
Um,
Look, I don't think there'll be mass exodus from our side. I think New Zealand, like I said, there'll be probably 2 retirements, but there'll also be quite a few guys that are going overseas for them. I can't remember. They did a quick list the other day. I wanted to say it's about five guys or something like that.
okay.
But yeah, we'll see that afterwards and
That's
the
why I said
aftermath.
I didn't want to end the episode with that, but I did want to touch on it and get your
Mm.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe just the last segment. What else haven't we covered?
Look,
Um,
I think just team-wise, I think you're going to see the same team from New Zealand. I don't foresee them
yeah.
making changes.
Can we
I think,
acknowledge the shithousery that they showed in the semi-final by playing the last 15 minutes, but not going back to their full contingent? They were like, no, we'll just play with 14. Oh,
good practice for if you get a yellow card. That's dumb. That's just
I
dumb.
just think they didn't want to risk him getting a second
A
yellow
second yellow, probably.
or getting an injury because he's so key to the. So I thought it was genius. I was like, that's smart.
It's just, that's, you're just so far ahead, you don't care anymore. That's
So
not what you want to see in a semi-final, let's be
no,
honest.
it really isn't.
I
And
always, it should be the highest form and
the
the
quarters were
highest.
the quarters were the semis.
Well,
We
we
were
got the final that we wanted, let's
we
be
were
honest.
enthralled by the quarters. The quarters to me was my favorite weekend of the World Cup so far.
Yeah, no, I
It
agree
was
with that.
brilliant.
Look, I wanted to say something now about, oh, geez, what was, the, the New Zealand pundits, they're on the breakdown, or JK and the lot. They're such a rip. They love to hate us and they hate to love us. It's brilliant. I mean, you'll always see uh, Jeff Jeff Wilson and
Yeah.
JK going at it with Jeff saying he enjoyed the drama of the Bok game more, and JK saying no, he enjoyed the All Blacks running victory against Argentina more.
That's so
Um,
blind. Suckers.
it's always such a rip, especially when you can see it just matters to those guys. It matters to them. It matters to all of us.
Yeah,
You can say what you want, but at the end of the day, you want your team to lift that bloody trophy, man. It is
absolutely.
definitely what they've all been gearing towards. So it's going to be an all-out bloody war, man. It's
Yeah.
going to be flippin' epic. I just wanted to know, team-wise, we did touch on it quickly. You're saying pretty much unchanged with Yas coming in, perhaps for Dwayne. And
in the starting lineup, with from what I've heard and what I've seen, I think Marnie gives way, and we go with a 6-2 split, and we start Pollard with Quibus and Villy on the bench. But I could be wrong. But I think that's the change that will happen.
yeah, look, I don't think we'll see a lot of changes. That's the one change. I was also thinking of perhaps Faf and Pollard coming in to start. I was thinking about Ox maybe starting, but I don't know. I would keep him for the impact off the bench. It's just our bench has been so bloody good, man. And they've been able to close out without the big leaders that you think you need. Who would have seen us going into a semi-final and you have O's like Ibn, Sia, all of the big guns sitting on the sideline, and you trusting your bench to deliver the goods, and by God, did they deliver the goods.
So on that, just on the bench, I think our bench, if we start and get the front foot ball and the engine rumbling like we can, what our bench allows us to do is, if, God forbid, we can catch up a game, because then all of a sudden those scrum penalties start to happen, and we've got the maul that then functions against a tiring pack and a not first choice type 5. Or if we are 3, 6, 9 points ahead, our bench comes on and it just lets us keep that momentum and take it further away. So we are very privileged with that bench.
No, for sure. Look, they've been doing the business. I really hope they won't let us down, but I don't. You got to believe that the Oaks know what their roles will be, what that is expected. I don't see too many surprises. But again, like I said, this is Jock and Rassie. They're not afraid to make the big calls.
Yeah.
We'll know by Thursday somewhere what exactly has been going through their minds. I see the English and Argentina teams have been announced for Friday's third place playoff. Should probably just mention that as well, that there's another game on Friday, Argentina, England at 9. No idea where they're playing, to be honest. Probably
Stade de France.
Also at the Stade de France. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where we'll be playing on Saturday, 9 o'clock in the evening, kickoff time in South Africa.
Yeah.
8 o'clock for British people, I guess. I'm not sure.
I'm just looking at the team here that they've put out. Yeah, very, very similar to what they put out this last weekend. Moved Freddie Stewart to 14 and Marcus Smith to 15.
Yeah, pretty weird, but okay.
Yeah. I think that'll be Sanchez and Crevy's last game. You know what I've liked? I think Ben Earl has played really well since he's come into the mix.
Yeah.
He's not a man of huge stature, but I've been very impressed with what he's about.
Very explosive, like a Kwahai.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, those guys are also playing for a bronze medal. I don't actually know there. I'll be honest. I really don't know who the hell's going to win that one. I guess it depends.
I think it'll be Argentina, because if they win that, that'll be their best finish ever in the Rugby World Cup. So I think there's more to play for them than England.
They just haven't had it. Look, they made their way to a semi-final, but they just haven't found rhythm the whole tournament.
Not at all.
The whole tournament. They found rhythm for about 15 minutes against Wales, to clinch that one. And then, look, England produced a very good performance this weekend. Can they emulate that? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, what's your prediction there, my good sir?
What in the final?
No, in the third place playoff game.
third, fourth player. I think Argentina by 5.
Interesting. I think I went for England by 8.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Look, England already beat them earlier in the tournament while they only had 14 oaks on the field. That
yeah.
was probably the worst Argentinian performance I have seen, taking all things into account. So they'll probably want to come out firing. Like you said, get a bronze medal, finish on a high. But yeah, it'll, I don't know. I think I've gone for England. Just yeah, I just don't know. Argentina just don't want to rock up. So I think
They
England
got
rocked
the
up. England rocked up, and maybe that'll give them the gist that they need to rock up one more time.
I've got a game in then. Okay, and then let's round off. So for the final now, let's get your prediction.
All right, 2023 Rugby World Cup final, SA versus New Zealand. I am backing the Boks by 1 point.
So not even
I
a
feel
score,
I
just Boks
feel
by
they
1.
are going for the trifecta. The trilogy will end in a trilogy spine tingling, heart stopping 1 pointer to probably become the first team to ever win it by 1 point in each knockout game. That would be
Um,
something.
I'm gonna say Boks by 4.
Oh, it can go either
Tight,
way. It is, it
tight
is,
like a
it is,
tiger.
as the great Al Pacino would say, it's a game of inches, inches by inches. Oh,
And with that,
jeez.
I think we've checked all the angles.
Look, I'm pretty sure we haven't checked all of them, but we've definitely checked enough. Um, I think we didn't have any structure there. I enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
was just a good old chat with some stats and facts and some good opinions. But yeah, I think just in the build up to Saturday, I have no idea what our plans are. I have no idea what we're going to choose in the starting lineup, but I think I think we're going to have one hell of a slobber knocker on our
Yeah.
hands on Saturday,
And I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait.
as well.
Friday work is going to be so hard, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
No, for sure. No, for sure. We'll definitely look. Saturday is going to be a long day as well, with kickoff at 9 only. So it's going to be a
But
long,
pace yourself. You and
long
those
day.
watching, pace yourself.
Yeah, look, pull in for some potjie if you're in the area, like a potjie day, big screen, projector, all things happening here. So it's going to be big. But yeah, I think in signing off, I would just like to say good luck to those in green and gold. We will definitely be keeping our eyes on you guys. Keep your eyes
Absolutely.
on the prize. Keep on doing what you're doing, inspiring, creating hope,
Yeah.
uh, getting a nation together around a fire, around anything, just uniting, making us stronger together. You know what? I'm so excited. I cannot wait. This is going to be majestic, to say the least. Is that it?
Okay.
Is that
No.
it?
Well,
You're not going to say anything. You're not going to say anything.
you
No,
you
no,
said
nice.
everything you said everything so well there. You didn't leave much for me to say. Look, all I'm going to say, because I was like, and I thought you were ending the show, but all I'm going to say is, Sia, I hope you fucking lift that trophy one more time. I cannot wait for Saturday, and whether or not you and I do this next week, and when we do our videos again. this World Cup's been so sick doing these videos. And yeah, it's been very, very cool. I'm glad our plan came together.
No, for sure. Just missed 1 week. That happens. We'll take that one on the chin. It is what it is. But yeah.
Box by 4.
Box by 4, box by 1, just box. We don't care. We just want that one in the trophy cabinet. Please, boys, bring it home.